Isaiah 5 and 6. Well, let's use chapter 6 to review the amazing call of Isaiah as he sees a vision of God in his throne room. Let me read from Isaiah 6. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne. Now again, this would be a vision. And a vision, of course, is analogous to something that's not real. So the idea is that God reigns, and the way this reign is pictured is, of course, on a throne. And the train of his robe filled the temple. Above it stood seraphim. A seraph in Hebrew just means serpent. So it's a picture. Again, it's analogous to some kind of a being. Obviously, it's not an angel. This is a divine being that seems to guard the throne room of Yahweh. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. Again, analogous to being swift, something like that. We're not otherwise sure. And one cried to another and said, Holy, holy, holy. Kadosh is the word for holy in Hebrew. Now, these beings are called holy ones in Psalm 89, verse 7, the assembly of the holy ones. So I think the point of these beings calling Yahweh holy 3 times is to say he is much more holy than we are even. And the word holy in Hebrew really just means unique or different. It's not the word for sinless. So we're not saying that Yahweh is sinless in this story. We're saying he's unique, he's different, he's better even than we are. And the posts of the door were shaken by the voice of him who cried out, and the house was filled with smoke. Unexplainable majesty and splendor, glory. That's the picture of this vision that Isaiah is seeing. Well, then Isaiah says, Woe is me, for I am undone. Let's see again why he feels this way. Because I am a man of unclean lips and dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. Notice his issue is not sinfulness. This is a man who's already righteous. From everything we know, Isaiah is a righteous man. But he's unclean because he's simply human. And he has been transported, in a sense, into the throne room of God. So this would be the expected reaction to a human being in the courtroom of not just Yahweh, but spirit beings in general. For my eyes have seen the King. I am witnessing the King in his courtroom. That's why he feels unclean. Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh of hosts. These are the hosts of Yahweh. Then one of the seraphim flew to me. Here's the solution to being unclean. One of the seraphim flew to me, having in his hand a live coal which he had taken with the tongs from the altar. The picture of a courtroom and a temple idea that there would be an altar there. So he goes to the altar and takes a coal. Let's finish reading. A coal which he had taken with the tongs from the altar. He touched my mouth with it and said, Behold, this has touched your lips. Your iniquity is taken away, and your kata, translated as sin in our Bibles, purged, or kafar, or atoned. So, again, we have talked about kata. It's often translated as sin, but it's not a moral issue. It's a ritual issue, and that kata is atoned. Notice again, this goes back to our study in Leviticus. Atonement only is done for people who are already in a right relationship with Yahweh. The problem of Isaiah was not sin, it was ritual uncleanness. How is that solved? By a ritual purification ceremony. So that's what we're seeing here. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, Well, I guess I'm the only one here. In other words, he's put in a position to notice that God is calling him. He's asking him to be the one to go to Israel, to go to the kings that he will be in their court, of course, as we talked about last time, and be a witness to them. So this is a good example again of this two-stage process of what it means to worship Yahweh. It means to, of course, be loyal to Him above all gods, but then also to be cleansed, a second and beyond just a loyalty, but some kind of a ritual cleansing, so that he can be commissioned, that he can be in the presence of Yahweh and also be commissioned by Him to service. And he said, "Go and tell this people, keep on hearing but do not understand, keep on seeing but do not perceive." And then, of course, Isaiah ends by saying, well, how long will I need to do this? And God says, until the captivity itself. So the lesson really here is that even God, in His calling Isaiah to be a servant of His as a prophet to these kings in the south, is not to measure His ministry by success, but simply by faithfulness.